For the last couple of months and even more, I've been using telemetry, and it has made a real difference in improving my pace and overall results in GT7. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to use telemetry effectively and explain why is it such a powerful tool. Telemetry allows you to dive into details of your lap. It shows you what you need to refine and what needs fixing to eventually become a better driver. If you're not familiar with it, telemetry is a tool used both in real racing world and in sim racing. It displays your driving data visually, usually in the forms of lines across a graph, and these lines represent things like acceleration, braking inputs, tire temperatures, gear shifts, RPM, and much more than that. Analyzing the data can really help smoothen out your performance and close the gap to the fastest drivers in the world, especially if you got a strong reference to compare your lap with. For this, I am using Coach Dave Delta, and there are other tools online. Some of them are free, some of them are paid, but Delta is my go-to because it's actually quite simple to use. It has a very clean interface, which makes spotting mistakes much easier. I've also made a few videos in the past showing the other uses of telemetry and also with the other tools like Motec, but in this video, we'll be focusing on Delta. So let's start by just recording a simple lap. Once you've got Delta installed, just jump into Gran Turismo and start driving. The cool part is that your PlayStation is constantly sending packets of data, and Delta translates that information into clear, readable insights you can actually use, so you don't have to do any extra work. Just race as usual. After your session, whether it's 1 lap or even 50 laps, you'll be able to go back and review your best laps. What's really useful is that you can see your racing lines, gear choices, braking points, acceleration, everything, pretty much everything. You can spot exactly what line you took in each corner, how much braking pressure you applied, and how early or how late you were on the accelerator. One limitation that I gotta mention in GT7 though is that steering input isn't tracked. So you won't be analyzing your steering inputs because simply there is no way to get them. So we'll focus on braking, acceleration, and general driving behavior, like if you're sticking to the optimal racing line. So let's say you completed a lap and now it's time to analyze. To do that properly, you need a reference lap. Before using telemetry, I used to rely on replays, just going frame by frame to analyze where I was losing time compared to the top drivers in the world. But that method really takes a lot of time, and with telemetry you can find pace in literally minutes. Whether you're trying to polish a single corner or you want to improve the whole track, it's just a couple of clicks away. So let's say you've been playing in online mode and you just want to grab a solid reference. First, find the replay, one of the top drivers. Usually go with the best one. Let the replay start, pause it. Then you need to go into Delta software, enable replay capture option. Now, all you have to do is resume your replay in-game and just let it run for a full lap. But please don't skip it. Just don't interrupt it in any way, and this is the crucial step. Just let that single lap play all the way through. And once the lap finishes, Delta will prompt you to choose where you want to save your data. You can just choose a location on your PC or Mac. And yes, it's only available for PC and Mac at the moment. After saving the replay, go back into Delta, load your own best lap, then click on Load Reference and select the file you just saved. From there, Delta will overlay your reference data on top of yours, and you will instantly see the differences. The first and the most obvious one will be your Delta line. That's exactly the difference between your lap and your reference lap, just broken down into corners. In some of the turns, the gap is immediately noticeable. For this example, we'll focus on Fuji. So let's dig deep into the areas where I lost the most time and break down exactly what can be improved. And just to add one more thing, there is a really helpful integration between Delta and DG Edge on your DG Edge account. Once you link your profile across those platforms, all of your laps recorded in Delta will automatically show in your DG Edge dashboard. For example, you can find all of my lap times on the website. Just click there and there it is. But why is it useful? Well, Gran Turismo has a slight delay when sending braking information. So while telemetry might show a smooth curve for braking inputs. In reality, that's not how it looks like. The game doesn't send the data fast enough to pinpoint exactly where you hit the brakes or how quickly the recorded file reached that full pressure. So yeah, unfortunately, you need a solid reference and you need that original file. So just to make 100% sure that you're really reaching that point. But when you record your lap directly through Delta, that issue disappears. If you want to compare yourself to the other drivers, it's actually super simple. Just go to DG Edge, click on lap times, and it will automatically open up in your browser. Every lap you recorded in Delta also gets stored in your Edge account automatically. So it just keeps everything in sync. And for example, you can find my lap times and compare yourself to the events that I did. I mean, I'm not doing everything, but you know, everything is there that I did. I'll include the link down in the description that's going to walk you through the whole connection process. So now, let's say we did all of this. We're inside Delta. We just got a lap loaded along the world record as a reference. And immediately, you can see the Delta line spiking in actually a couple of key areas. And that's where I'm losing most of the time. Some of the gaps are actually quite severe. So I think it's finally time that we break it down. Starting with turn 1. I'm just zooming into turn 1 and it's clear that the reference used a more efficient approach despite the slight data delay GT7 has when it comes to braking inputs. We can clearly see the difference. The world record eased off the brakes smoothly while entering the corner, and of course it used the curb to rotate the car. He also turned in earlier than I did, carried more speed through the corner, and used the full width of the track on the exit. And that alone resulted in, I'm going to say, quite a noticeable gain. And it's only turn 1. Next, in turn 3 at Fuji, the pattern repeated. I braked earlier and stayed on the brakes a little bit longer, which means that I carried less speed into the corner. The reference just got a wider entry, slightly wider, got off the brakes quicker, and took a better line through the corner. Even gear choice played a role here. He stayed in 4th gear while I dropped in 3rd, possibly unsettling the car and slowing me down even further. Moving into the next section, and this one really stood out, and he was actually a lot quicker in this corner, but I just held the brakes too long, didn't rotate the car early enough. The reference driver just cut into the corner sooner, used the curb for rotation, and got back onto the power earlier with, of course, more stability because he stayed in 1st gear while I dropped into 1st. And that allowed him to accelerate more cleanly and, of course, carry more speed out of the corner. I mean, these are really subtle changes, but they do add up. For example, in one of the corners, I accelerated slightly too early, but it pushed me wide, or just a little bit wider than it should, messing up my line for the following turn. If I waited just for a fraction of a second longer before getting onto the power, I could have held a better line, and of course I could have carried more speed on the way out of the corner. And that small mistake cost me 50 thousandths of a second. It's nothing. And one of the most important sections on the lap just shows how critical precision is. While we entered kind of in a similar way, our exits were completely different. Even though I went wider on entry, I kind of ended up losing time because I was less stable under acceleration. And the reference driver took a much smoother and, in general, much faster line. So you can see it's a slightly faster line and a slightly flatter line in telemetry. And once again, it's a tiny difference, but it's another 50 thousandths of a second gained. In summary, these aren't massive issues. And in general, 50 thousandths of a second, it's not much. But when you're chasing a lap, which is just about half a second quicker than you, those micro adjustments are everything. It's just about refining your braking points, carrying more speed, hitting cleaner exits, and of course, using every bit of track. And these small gains can really turn good laps into great laps. All in all, telemetry data can save you a ton of time when it comes to analyzing your laps. It's really incredibly useful tool that I rely on frequently to fine-tune my driving and find those small but critical improvements. If you got any questions about this video or there's something specific you would like to dive deeper into, feel free to leave a comment down below. You can also post your lap in the lap analysis thread on the website, or you can just join our Discord where we get into these topics more regularly. So once again, thank you guys for watching, and I really hope that this video helped you out. And of course, you can leave a like if you liked the video, and you might even want to consider subscribing. Till the next time, bye.